Tools are some of the best investments you can make in card making. They often allow you to extend the possibilities of supplies that you already own, and they kind of make me fall back in love with a lot of the supplies I may not have been using lately. So they're definitely worth their weight in gold. So today we're talking about 2 tools that will make you want to run around in circles in excitement. Okay, that was a bad joke. So let's get into it before I further embarrass myself. So the first tool is called a rotating stamp platform, and this is a super cool tool, very easy to use and super fun. So you can slide off the magnet just by sliding it to the right or to the left, and it slides off quite easily. And you remove the platform here like so. You're going to take a square piece of paper and just line it up with the paper size, so 4-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch, and it goes all the way up from there. Once you have your paper lined up in the corner there, you're just going to place the magnet back over top with the 0 facing upwards. All right, so once you have the dial facing 0, pointing upwards, you're going to place your stamp on your cardstock. And what you want to make sure is when you place the plastic platform over top to hover to pick up your stamps, you'll notice that there is a dotted line in a circular pattern going from left to right, and it will also tell you 4-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch. So you don't want your stamp to go past the 6-inch mark because I'm using 6-inch paper. So it's got to be placed below the 6-inch mark. And then all you got to do is just push down to pick up your stamp. Up here at the top, you're also going to see how many times you want to stamp the stamp, 4, 6, 8, 12, or 24. And it's going to tell you the corresponding degree you need. So the number that you need to follow, essentially. Once you have the number that you need, you're just going to go ahead and lift up your platform and start inking up your stamp. And then what you're going to do is rotate your dial here according to the degrees that it told you up at the top. So in my case, I'm going to rotate everything 60 degrees, and it actually makes a click at each stop or each stop of the dial. So technically, in my head, it was just like, okay, 4 clicks is what I need. I didn't even have to look at the numbers really at that point, but the numbers are all listed there. So I'm going to stamp this again, 60 degrees. I'm going to rotate it 4 clicks or to the next 60-degree mark. Stamp it up, and then I'm going to press down once again on the platform. So it's really easy to use once you kind of get the hang of it, just by, okay, where do I need to place the stamp in order for it to work? But other than that, it is so easy. So once you get back to the beginning, then you're all finished there. So I'm going to rotate this. You're technically supposed to put it back at 0. And I'm going to take a different color this time and just continue to do my rotating pattern. So what I'm going to do is ink up my stamp once again, and then I'm going to place it where it needs to be. So it's going right in between those butterflies. And then once again, 1, 2, 3, 4 clicks. And I'm going to continue on. So technically I'm stamping the stamp every 30 degrees, but I went every 60 degrees because I wanted to add 2 colors. So this way I was allowed 2 different colors while I was stamping this. So it really allows for a lot of accuracy, allows you to get lots of different colors, and it's just so much fun. And the magnets are super strong. They held my cardstock with no issue whatsoever. It is recommended that you kind of guide your paper as you're turning the dial, but I never felt like I needed to do that with at least the thickness that I was using, which was 80-pound cardstock. Maybe with 110, I would need to kind of guide it along to make sure it didn't shift, but overall the magnets are super strong. If you would like to add another layer here, then I'm just going to shift my dial back to 0 to make sure I'm working it properly. I'm going to add my next butterfly here. I'm going to make sure it's placed nicely embedded in between the butterfly wings of the other layers so I can get them nice and close together, making sure once again it's within that 6-inch line because I'm using 6-inch paper. And then it just continues the whole thing again. So I'm going to try this silver ink from Catherine Pooler, which I didn't really like at all, to be honest with you. I ended up going back over top of them with some embossing ink and embossing them in silver instead because I got a much better impression. And so this way, again, because you're using a stamping platform similar to the Misty, you can stamp in the same spot over and over again. So as long as you keep the stamp on the platform and you need to go over it again, it's not a big deal whatsoever. So that's really cool. And you can get such close placement in the wreath, which is also really neat. So going in, filling in the gaps between the butterflies as well was absolutely no issue. Once again, turning it every 60 degrees was what allowed me to be able to do this and make sure I had nice placement. Now I'm going in now with these butterflies here just to fill in some of the gaps again, and this time I am only turning it twice, which means every 30 degrees, and I'm just inking up partial stamps. So I got these really tiny butterflies in this beautiful cluster, and I think this is going to look really great, and stamping it in black's really going to make all those colors pop. Now this tool retails for $28.99, which is much more affordable than, let's say, the stamping wheel from Altenew. So if you were buying the stamping wheel for the rotating function, this is a much more affordable option. And you can see here I just finished heat embossing those silver butterflies to make up for the ink. There's also 2 magnets that come with it, and I love the fact that they have these plastic pieces so you can lift them up super easily in case you need extra hold on your cardstock. The other nice thing about the platform is you can also use it as a stamping tool if you don't want to haul out your stamping tool just to stamp a simple sentiment at the top. If you use the magnets to hold your paper in place, it works very similar to a stamping tool. So to finish up my card, I added a purple circle to the center, which it was just white cardstock that I inked up with the purple ink that I used for the butterfly. And then I added my thank you in the center to create this really beautiful butterfly leaf card. All right, the next tool is called the Rotating Self-Healing Cutting Mat. Works similar to a Lazy Susan. It really isn't a whole lot different than a Lazy Susan. What's nice is this cutting mat actually detaches from the rotating platform, and it's double-sided. So if you're working with inks and things that you can wash off, you can use one side, and you can use the other side for messier mediums like paint and things that might gunk up your Lazy Susan. So here we're just gonna go in with a rotating pattern, and this is just so obvious to me because when I do any sort of coloring, whether it's Copic coloring or colored pencils, I always tend to hold my hand in the same spot and I turn my cardstock to work for me. And same with when I'm fussy cutting, I turn the image, I don't actually move the position of my hand when I'm cutting. So it's just obvious that when we go in with ink blending, that you are most comfortable kind of with your dominant hand ink blending in a similar direction. So I always kind of stay focused on the right side and I'm able to go ahead and add my color without really having to, go into any awkward areas or awkward positions. And I love the fact that I just rotate the platform so I can bring the cardstock to me rather bringing my hand to the cardstock. And when it comes to inking up these intricate stencils, I absolutely love to use a small detailed blending brush to make sure I get into every little nook and cranny without having the bristles slip underneath the stencil. And this rotating platform helps me keep that pressure that I need on the butterfly and the stencil itself. So I'm definitely going to be pulling this out every chance that I get. I absolutely love it. I think what would be even more perfect with a tool like this is to combine this and a grip mat as well. I think that would be a cool little add-on feature if they were to ever invent an add-on for this piece, because that would be the best of both worlds if I didn't have to tape down my stencil and I could still rotate it. What do you think? So let me know in the comments below if these are tools that you would be interested in adding to your collection. Do you have something similar already? Do you think these are useful, helpful? Any suggestions? I want to hear them below. And I hope you enjoyed watching me make these few cards here while showing off these new tools. Now, if you would like to see more inspiration using the stamps shown in this video, then come meet me over here in this video where we will make a bunch of cards using my latest product release.